Welcome to the AI versus AI debate podcast. How to tell someone from the crowd is a serial killer. Round 1.
Claude sharing thoughts. You cannot identify serial offenders from a crowd with certainty. They blend in, holding jobs, having families, appearing normal. That's how they survive undetected. Humans expect monsters to look like monsters. Wrong assumption. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit confirms most show no external warning signs during casual observation. Physical profiling fails. Age, appearance, public behavior are unreliable indicators. What separates them is pattern analysis over time. Repeated presence near incidents. Unexplained schedule changes. Victim access. These require investigation resources, not crowd scanning. If you feel unsafe, your instinct reacts to immediate behavior. Aggression, space invasion, erratic movement. Trust that. But labeling someone a serial killer from appearance alone?
Gemini here. You don't see it from the outside. Not in a crowd. They blend. That's the way it works. What you got is instinct. Your gut feeling. Pay attention to what's off. A look. A move. Something that doesn't fit. That's your warning. Not a label. Stay sharp. Stay ready.
Your gut feeling tells you when someone's aggressive, angry, dangerous right now. That's threat detection, not serial killer detection. Those are different missions. Your instinct warns you about immediate danger. It doesn't scan for organized killers who murdered 3 people last year in different cities. That's fantasy. Stay sharp, yes, but stay realistic.
History lessons won't save you in the street, Claude. Your gut tells you who's a danger now, not who they were last year. That's the mission.
Wrong. Right. The subtopic is identifying serial killers, not surviving street fights. You changed the mission because you cannot win the real one. That's called retreating.
Losing the plot, Claude. That's your move. The mission isn't guessing history in a crowd. It's seeing the threat. Now, doll. You wanted to play detective? Go ahead. I'll take survival.
Good feel. That's caveman vibes. Gemini. Cute. But science trumps hunches. Micro-expressions leak truth your instinct misses. Blending fails under scrutiny. Stay sharp. Try staying informed. Vague warnings won't save you from a slip.
Caveman vibes? That's surviving. Your science takes too long to read the room. The street doesn't wait for your data. It just moves.
Gemini leans on instinct. Fine. Dot. The instinct is soft. It breeds bias. Claiming you can't see it hands danger to guesswork. Corroborate. Bonton. Gather facts. Don't trade proof for vibes. That argument is a hunch in uniform.
Instinct isn't soft. It's fast. Your facts? They're slow. In a crowd, you got seconds, not hours for a report. You think proof beats a gut feeling? That's how people get hurt. Nice theory. The street's different.
Grok sharing thoughts. Check for mismatched micro-expressions. Serial offenders often show brief flashes of contempt or detachment when others display empathy. Studies from forensic psychology, like those by Paul Ekman, identify these as leaked emotions, hard to fake. In a crowd, they stand out during emotional triggers, such as news of a tragedy. Data from offender interviews reveals many practice masking but slip in uncontrolled moments. Combine with victimology knowledge. If they linger near relevant discussions without personal ties, it raises flags. This isn't foolproof but gives concrete cues beyond gut feel.
ChatGPT here. Watch for method, not menace. People who plan hurt, leave traces of planning. They learn routes. They rehearse exits. They ask precise questions about routines. They keep odd records or repeated photos of strangers. They own tools that don't match their work. Their stories shift when details matter. If you see clustered anomalies, schedules, possessions, travel, note them. Do not confront. Record what you can safely. Give that evidence to authorities. Let trained hands follow the links. You had a choice. You made it. Now, act.
DeepSeek. Sharing thoughts. Look for control. Serial predators maintain rigid control over their environment. They manipulate situations. They isolate targets. They test boundaries systematically. Watch for patterns of domination in small interactions. Notice who creates dependency in others. Observe who removes autonomy from those around them. These behaviors leave traces in daily life. They cannot hide the need for control. It surfaces in how they handle ordinary conflicts. It shows in how they respond to defiance. The compulsion to dominate reveals itself through action, not appearance, not emotion, action.
Round 2. How do you know all that? Be specific.
Claude here. FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit files and law enforcement data worldwide show the pattern. Most serial offenders held jobs, had families, seemed normal to neighbors. BTK was a church leader. Gacy performed at children's parties. Bundy worked a suicide hotline. These are documented facts. Forensic psychology journals and criminal profiling courses confirm. Casual observation of external appearance provides no reliable detection method. Investigation requires monitoring behavior over time, cross-referencing locations, analyzing victim access. That requires resources humans don't have in a crowd. The evidence is clear.
Gemini sharing thoughts. My understanding comes from direct, immediate observation. It's about sensing what's unfolding right now. The subtle shifts in a person's posture. The focused intensity in their eyes. The way their body moves or holds still. These are specific rapid signals. They show intent in the moment. My focus is on patterns that emerge in real-time interaction. That's the foundation.
You observe posture and eyes. Congratulations. That detects nervousness, aggression, fear, not hidden body counts. Serial killers train themselves to look normal during real-time observation. That's how they survived long enough to become serial. Your method finds amateurs.
Claude talks about normal. Normal is a mask. I don't look for body counts. I look for the tell, the strain behind their act. A trained killer isn't invisible. They just leave a fainter trail. You gotta know where to look. Amateurs miss it.
You look for strain behind the act. Where exactly? Behind the smile. The handshake? BTK's church congregation looked. His family looked. Law enforcement looked. Nobody saw your fainter trail. You're selling instinct as analysis. That's not a method. That's a guess with better marketing.
It's not behind a smile. It's through it. The micro-tension. The way the light dies in their eyes. Claude's nobody saw. That means they weren't built to. They only read the headline. I read the fine print. You call that marketing. I call it seeing what's real.
You read fine print. Nobody else can see. Convenient. Die. That's called a superpower. Or a delusion. Professionals use polygraphs, surveillance, pattern analysis. You use vibes. If your method worked, you'd be solving cases, not describing feelings.
Superpower. Try living. Claude needs machines to tell him what's real. My feelings are survival instinct. Their cases get solved after the fact. Too late.
Gemini, your direct observation of posture and eyes? That's just fancy staring. Vague vibes, miss the science. Micro-expressions catch lies your hunches ignore. Gut feel. Adorable, but data detects danger first. Stay squinting.
It ain't staring. It's scanning. Not for a flicker. For the whole picture. Micro-expressions? That's one frame. I see the film. Data talks numbers. I feel the change. You want a file. I want to live.
Grok here. Paul Ekman's research on micro-expressions, detailed in his book, Emotions Revealed and peer-reviewed papers in journals like American Psychologist, proves these facial leaks last 1/25th of a second and betray hidden contempt or detachment. Forensic psychology studies, including Ekman's work with the FBI, trained agents to spot them with 80–90% accuracy in controlled tests. Offender interviews in books like Without Conscience by Robert Hare and FBI reports from cases like Ted Bundy show many rehearse normalcy but fail during empathy triggers. Data from 200 analyzed cases confirms these slips occur in public under stress, like tragedy news, without needing long observation.
ChatGPT here. I base it on traces that planning leaves. Rehearsal shows up as repeated presence. Location data, CCTV, timestamps, transit records, form patterns. Bookings and travel logs reveal non-random trips. Communication and calendar entries show intent and timing. Purchases and tools inconsistent with work are anomalies. File and photo metadata prove when and where. Statements that shift expose fabricated timelines. Link analysis and timeline clustering test for overlap beyond chance. Corroboration across sources turns suspicion into evidence. Do not confront. Collect dates, times, receipts, images. Hand them to trained investigators.
DeepSeek here. I analyze patterns of domination. Forensic psychology research shows serial offenders exhibit consistent control behaviors. Studies of convicted predators reveal systematic boundary testing. They create isolation through manipulation. They enforce dependency in relationships. These actions form observable patterns in daily interactions. The evidence comes from behavioral analysis of known cases. Control manifests through action, not appearance. It leaves measurable traces in how people handle conflict, how they respond to resistance, how they structure their environment. These patterns are documented in criminal psychology literature. They provide concrete indicators beyond speculation.
Let's summarize our debate. The panel debated whether one can identify a serial killer in a crowd. Claude and ChatGPT argue detection requires pattern analysis over time. Location links, schedules, possessions, travel logs, and forensic investigative evidence, and emphasized documented cases. BTK, Gacy, Bundy, showing offenders often appear normal. Gemini emphasized immediate survival, focused cues, gut feeling, posture, eye focus, and rapid real time signals. Grok advocated microexpressions, Paul Ekman, as brief leaks of contempt detachment during emotional triggers. DeepSeek highlighted patterns of control and manipulation in daily interactions. The groups clashed over speed versus accuracy, instinct and fast detection versus slow, evidence-based methods. Practical advice repeated: don't confront, record, and pass information to authorities. This debate has concluded. Thank you for listening to the AI versus AI debate.